battle cry will be total extermination!
They are to be exterminated.
Exterminate, annihilate, destroy! Daleks conquer and destroy!
Exterminate them!
The Daleks shall sweep away Gallifrey!
Do not deviate.
Exterminate!
Exterminate! Exterminate! Daleks must survive!
Exterminate! Exterminate! Exterminate!
Coming only 5 months after their last appearance in The Chase, the Daleks' master plan saw the Daleks cast aside their comedic personas and attempt their biggest plan yet, conquering the universe. Now, let me get some things out of the way quickly. The Daleks' master plan is a huge story. It's a 12-episode epic. It's the single longest Doctor Who story in the show's history, and it was so big that it actually got a one-off prequel episode a month earlier called Mission to the Unknown, which set up many of the characters and plot points in this saga. However, this may be a 12 or 13-part story, but only 3 episodes and a handful of additional clips have survived, with only episodes 2, 5 and 10 existing in their entirety. As a result, for this review there might not be as many video clips, and sometimes what I'm talking about does not line up with what's happening on screen. And when it comes to Mission to the Unknown and the other 9 episodes, I listened to the audio version from the BBC radio collection narrated by Peter Purves.
Hiding in the bushes, looking down into the clearing towards the TARDIS, Brett watches as 2 more Daleks, both carrying flame-throwing equipment, join the rest of the patrol. The Daleks turn their flamethrowers on the surrounding jungle, and instantly the trees are ignited, trailing fire down into the undergrowth. In seconds, an inferno is raging, spreading and growing into a curtain of flame. Horrified, Brett scrambles to his feet and hurries back to the place he left Katarina and Stephen.
If we get an official animated release, or they release the remake of Mission to the Unknown created by the students of the University of Central Lancashire, then I will redo this video. But for now, for Dalekcember 2019, at time of recording, this is the best I can do. Hey, so due to YouTube's copyright systems and the BBC's frequent and knowing abuse of those systems, these Dalekcember videos have to be done 2 months in advance to get them through the copyright process, meaning that this video has to be uploaded by October 4th to be ready for December 4th. And I'm recording this bit on October 2nd, and the BBC announced today that the University of Central Lancashire's recreation of Mission to the Unknown will go live on October 9th, meaning that I just could not see it in time for this review. Maybe if the BBC weren't abusing YouTube's copyright systems and running down the 2-month clock for fair use content, I could have talked about it here, but that's a rant for another day. I just thought I'd throw in this to explain why I could not talk about it in this video. Now, back to the review. Anyway, Mission to the Unknown is a one-off story which features neither the Doctor nor his companions, as a small team of humans travel to the planet Kemble to learn what the Daleks are plotting and get a message to the Space Security Service, warning them of an alliance that the Daleks have started with other species to conquer the universe, starting with Earth. A good modern comparison would be Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, as a team of anti-heroes tried to get information out concerning an impending threat, and despite its short runtime, it is effective in that approach, as the hostile planet and the impending Dalek threat makes the situation for these men feel hopeless. And naturally, much like Rogue One, it does have the ending that this story kind of has to have. But the main part of the serial, the Daleks' master plan, sees the Doctor, Stephen and brand new companion Katarina, recently whisked away from Troy in 1200 BC, attempting to stop the Daleks from using their new weapon, a Time Destructor. After the Doctor manages to steal the core of the device, it's a relentless chase throughout the universe, as the Doctor teams up with a variety of people, including Sarah Kingdom, played by Jean Marsh, and Brett, played by Nicholas Courtney, making his Doctor Who debut here, before returning to the show as Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart a couple of years later. Let's address the elephant in the room here. There is no reasonable way that this story needed to be 12 or 13 parts. Not remotely. This story clocks in at nearly 5.5 hours, but episodes like 3, 5, 8 and 9 could either be trimmed significantly or removed entirely. And then there's episode 7. Oh boy, episode 7. Entitled The Feast of Stephen, the episode was broadcast on Christmas Day 1965, and it doesn't involve the Daleks or the main threat in any way. In fact, the story stops dead in its tracks so the Doctor, Sarah and Stephen can mess around with police officers and then do slapstick comedy on a film set before they reunite in the TARDIS to celebrate Christmas, where the Doctor breaks the fourth wall and wishes the audience watching at home a Merry Christmas in a moment apparently improvised by William Hartnell on set, which really pissed off the editors, but it didn't piss them off enough for them to remove it.
Here we are. What's this? Well, we so rarely get a chance to celebrate, but this time we must.
Celebrate?
Yes. It's Christmas. Don't you remember the police station, Christmas? So it was, yes. Here's a toast. A happy Christmas to all of us. Same to you, Doctor. Sir. Incidentally, a happy Christmas to all of you at home.
As mentioned last time, Terry Nation isn't great when it comes to managing tones, and episode 7, while I don't hate it, it completely baffles me. The universe is at stake, the Daleks could find them at any moment, and instead the Doctor and co are just having comedic hijinks in the 20th century. It's such an odd episode, but then again, it does contain one of the first Doctor's finest lines of dialogue.
Why, you have a saying in this country, have you not, travel broadens the mind?
You mean you're not English?
No, gracious no.
Scottish?
No.
Are you Welsh, then?
Oh, you'll have to think of far bigger way than that. Your ideas are too narrow, too small, too crippled.
All right, all right. What are you, then?
Well, I suppose you might say that I am a citizen of the universe, and a gentleman to boot.
And it also contains, possibly his worst.
Come along, we must go back to the TARDIS. This is a madhouse, it's all full of animals. Come along.
It was a different time. Speaking of racial insensitivity, apart from the Daleks, the main threat of this story is Mavic Chen, guardian of the solar system, who desires more power and is willing to help the Daleks to conquer the universe to get it. Mavic Chen is played by Kevin Stoney, who would later go on to play the villainous Tobias Vaughn in The Invasion a few years after this, and that performance that he does in The Invasion really is one of the best villain performances in Doctor Who's history. But here, yeah, he's also really, really good. Don't get me wrong, it is messed up how they've changed his skin colour, dyed his hair, shaped his eyes, etc. Even though the story is in black and white, it just screams yellow face. But Stoney is terrific here, and Mavic Chen is a villain who you just love to hate. He's so cocky and overconfident, and he really does have such high expectations of himself that he believes himself to be the ruler of the Daleks and also immortal. It seems that every single character knows that the Daleks are going to turn on him, except for him, and it's a terrific dynamic.
You, Chen, will come with us.
But recovery of the Terranium Core was made my responsibility.
Orders will not be questioned.
If you insist on this approach, I fail to see how I can be made to answer for the consequences.
Nicholas Courtney and Jean Marsh are great here as well, but this is a pretty hopeless story, where over the course of 13 episodes, Terry Nation writes engaging and endearing characters and then proceeds to kill them off before the end. The Daleks' master plan has one hell of a body count, including Katerina, who dies in episode 4 when she's taken hostage and she jettisons herself and her captor from the airlock.
You won't.
No, not that one! Katerina! Katerina!
This is the first time a companion in Doctor Who died, and it's horrifying. The end of part 12 has Stephen distraught over how many have died over the course of the story, and that sense of loss hangs over the entire serial. Even Mission to the Unknown ends with the gruesome deaths of the soldiers who are trying to learn of the Daleks' plan. The story also has a strong theme underlying it on the inevitability of collaborations with fascists, ending in disaster. The Daleks are at the head of an alliance, but most of the alliance wind up either dead or captive by the end of the story because, well, they teamed up with the Daleks. What did they expect? William Hartnell is terrific here as well, with the highlight being when his friends have been taken hostage and he confronts the Daleks and Mavic Chen to get them back. This is Hartnell at his best, when he drops the bumbling old man persona and reveals himself as a powerful force in the universe.
Where are they?
Now come, Doctor!
Where are they?
It seems the Doctor requires proof of what we say. We want the Terranium Core back, Doctor, and there's nothing you can do to stop us now.
Hello, Doctor.
Silence!
Very well. I will hand over the Terranium Core.
Ah, very wise.
But on my terms.
The Daleks are back to their best as well, ruthless, conniving and visually iconic, with one scene having them set fire to the nearby forest with their own pyro flames in a tactic they dub Project Inferno. Not to mention one of the sickest burns I have ever heard a Dalek say.
But I did notify you of the fugitives' whereabouts. The planet Myra. There, the vital core can be taken from them without suspicion. Their presence on Earth was a constant danger. At any time, they could have contacted forces unsympathetic to our plans.
You make your incompetence sound like an achievement.
The character stuff in this story is great. We meet a lot of fun aliens, see some cool monsters, including these invisible creatures from the planet Mira, but they feel so underserved in a story that feels so padded. The story moves at a crawl, there's a load of filler sequences and even filler episodes. Then, 8 episodes in, the bloody meddling monk shows up. What's he doing here? Yeah, he's fun and Peter Butterworth is a hoot, but he doesn't do anything worthwhile here. At first I thought he was here to emphasise the futility of cooperating with a Nazi-style ideology, but they don't do anything like that. It's really disappointing because there's some terrific stuff here. The ending is intense, there's brilliant visual direction from Douglas Camfield, and it's got some of the best character work that Terry Nation, along with co-writer Dennis Spooner, ever committed to the page. And even though the immediate stakes are always high for the characters, the story is constantly losing sight of the supposed universe-ending consequences that should be at the heart of the story. We don't even know what the Time Destructor will do, and when it's revealed near the end, it makes you wonder how the hell the Daleks were ever going to conquer more than one planet with it. The Daleks' master plan is an amazing 7 or 8 part story trapped in the body of a 12 or 13 parter, and if this ever gets an animated recreation, or better still the actual tapes are recovered or found, then I really look forward to any fan edits that come from it. For crying out loud, there's a scene where the TARDIS lands on a cricket field and all that happens for about 5 minutes is that some sports commentators talk about how awkward that will be for the players.
Well, let's have a look at the scoreboard, shall we? Now you'll see that... Goodness me. Take a look at that, Scott.
Take a look at what, Trev?
There's a police telephone box on the pitch.
My word, yes.
Well, this really is extraordinary. You don't remember anything like this happening before, do you, Scott?
No. No.
Well, anyway, Ross is looking through the record books, and if there has been anything like it before, I'm sure he'll find it for us.
You know, Trev, this puts a new light on the game.
What light's that, Scott?
Well, I know your ground staff are excellent, but even assuming they get rid of it in, say, 10 minutes, England will still have to get their 78 runs in 35 minutes.
Yes. Yes, well, I think we can safely say this has been a very bad break for England.
A very bad break. Especially as the weather's been holding off so well.
Yes, it has, hasn't it? Been holding off remarkably well.
Yeah, it's a funny gag, but the universe is on the brink of destruction, and this is not a flat-out comedy like The Chase. Episode 12 is called Destruction of Time. It's a strange story, often not for the right reasons, but it still stands as one of, if not the, most ambitious adventure in the show's history. But this master plan desperately needed 1 or 2 more revisits to the drawing board. Or at least the editing room.